Isiah Pacheco. We'll start with Isiah Pacheco. Fractured his fibula on Sunday Night Football, headed to IR and expected to miss 6 to 8 weeks of football action. This is a devastating blow to Kansas City. They're already saying that they are going to bring in Kareem Hunt for a visit on Tuesday. Samaje Perine, Carson Steele on the roster. Guys, what do we think of this injury? How it impacts football and the Kansas City Chiefs?
Steve, you can go first.
Yeah, that's a devastating injury. Pacheco came up last year down the stretch, after early on, slowly getting incorporated to the offense, 7th-round pick. But the guy, runs with so much effort, good around the goal line, getting everything done for them. But the Chiefs' depth behind him is not great. I mean, we're talking about guys that aren't even drafted. Carson Steele, Kareem Hunt they're going to bring back from the dead, freaking Samaje Perine. Maybe they bring back Jerry McKinnon. So, yeah, it's pretty ugly. And the Chiefs, ever since they took CEH at the end of the first round, they basically just said, screw taking running backs in the draft. We'll just take 7th-rounders and hope for the best. Deneric Prince, another guy they freaking, they try to take a chance on. So I don't know. I think they got a little too cute there with their RB depth, but maybe Carson Steele is the guy that you want. I mean, he seems like the biggest power guy. We'll see if they sign Hunt. He knows the system. He has the past history. I definitely, if I need RB help, or if I have some like shitty receivers that aren't doing anything, or maybe an extra quarterback, yeah, why not go out and add Kareem Hunt? I'm not going to go crazy, but unless I'm truly desperate, like if I have nobody else at running back, then yeah, maybe I'll pay a pretty penny. But I'm not going to go too nuts. I'm not expecting anything much from any of these guys. It could just be a committee all around. Is one of these guys really going to stand out?
Yeah. Yeah, I kind of look. I agree with Steve. I'm not really dropping a lot of money on any of these guys for Fab. I think it's one of those things where you maybe put a waiver in for all three. Maybe I would have Perine as my top priority. Maybe throw $1 on like Carson Steele as the lowest priority guy. But I think the main thing here for me is that Perine's probably got a defined role in this offense, which is going to pass the football a lot. And if these running backs are not very good on the ground, they may have to throw the football more. And if that's the case, Perine's probably the best back that they have. Even if Hunt comes back, who's coming off the street, Perine was one of the more efficient receiving backs in the NFL last year. And he gets it done on 3rd down and with the pass protection as well. So Perine's the guy I would target. But to be completely honest with you, like I don't really know that I'd want many of these guys, but I would probably just rather get the cheapest. If you can get Carson Steele for $1, maybe he's the goal line guy, and maybe he's the guy that's running in and punching in touchdowns at the goal line. But outside of that, I'm not dropping a lot. Maybe 5% of my fab on Perine, 7 to 8 max, unless you're in a deep league like 14 man, and at that point I would consider going up to 15 for Perine. But that's really about it, unless you're really desperate in a deep league. So.
I feel like we're going to be looking at a running back by committee for a while. Obviously, Pacheco, IR, CEH is not eligible to return from the NFI list until week 5. Keontae Ingram and I believe Imani Bailey on the practice squad. Kareem Hunt, familiarity with this system, coming in for a visit. Now, what's significant, we know what Pacheco's role is on this team. He was the every down back, played in at least 40 snaps in both games, at least 15.8 PPR points in both games. Big receiving role, especially last week, before the injury, 5 of 5 targets, 21 yards, 90 yards on the ground. First week, he scores a touchdown. Now, Samaje Perine only played in 5 snaps, where Carson Steele got 14. Perine only had 1 touch, which was a reception for 3 yards, while Carson Steele did run the ball 7 times for 24 yards. So what I'm probably going to look at here is maybe Carson Steele is going to be the early down, and then we see Perine on the passing downs. The only thing that can throw, I know Perine's still getting acclimated with the offense, so maybe it takes a couple weeks, then he takes over. But right now, as this backfield stands, I think we're looking at a true split from early down carries versus passing down work.
Hey, and the only other thing I would say to close out, Don't forget, we talked about this running back room, and we talked about Clyde as probably being the number 2. I was kind of mentioning Carson Steele a little bit,
Yeah.
and then Clyde ended up obviously going on IR with that, I guess, PTSD thing. So he's probably not returning. I don't think he can return until week 5
Week 5.
Yeah, so we know he's possibly gone, and don't be surprised if this team brings in like a Jerick McKinnon. The guy knows the system, right? And like what is he doing right now? So it wouldn't surprise me, but we were on Carson Steele a couple weeks ago, talking about him as potentially being the number 2. He's got an opportunity, so we'll see if it happens. But to Anthony's point, I think Steele probably gets the early down work, but if he's not effective or efficient, like, they might be in a lot of passing, like, 3rd and long, and that's going to favor Perine in my opinion. So